everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is season 3.
Woo woo.
This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version to our YouTube channel. Oh, excuse me.
Ooh.
So you can check that out. My name is Vetta, and as always, I am joined by my brother, Matt.
Hey, you guys.
And we are still chucking through this theme of pandemic movies.
Yes, which you are not allowed to pick the theme anymore, fucker.
I say that every week.
I say it every week because it's true. Oh my goodness. I am like so like, I mean,
Over
this
it?
movie wasn't overwhelmingly awful. It's just I was
But
like,
again,
man, what a
it deals with kids.
it's such ain't that the truth? Like, yeah, it's such a bummer. Like, I'm all like, oh, this is great. Look at our future.
Right. Right. So on this episode, if you're wondering what movie we're talking about, we will be talking about The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yes, and she doesn't have all the gifts, if you get what I'm saying.
She
Wink,
literally
wink.
just has one very important gift.
Yeah, which is not the gift we all want. A weak gag reflex. Anyways. Okay, so
all right, so most important question, what are you drinking?
Okay, so I am drinking what is called Pandemic Punch. I made a big picture of it. It's basically just a bottle of wine, my favorite, and lemonade, and what else is in it? There's some other alcohol in it. There's fruit, if you can't see it.
I can see the fruit.
Yeah, and then there's oh gosh, I don't know. You can top it off with some Sprite, which is like very little.
So I am drinking a shit, I already forgot the name. Pretty Girl Punch. And
look at you.
Yeah, well, because it's a girl main character movie. So it has simple syrup, some limeade, silver Bacardi rum, and seltzer water. So it's pretty good. It's going down nice. I'm not gonna say no.
Right on. That's what I hate about these like fruity drinks, because they're so good. I get drunk on the goodness and everything.
Right. But that's the problem too, because the whole time you're drinking it, you're like, man, there's so much filler. Why couldn't you have made it just be a lime liqueur? Why is it just a limeade? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Make it like an iced tea or a Long Island iced tea where there's no tea in it. It's just a bunch of liquor. The color makes it look like iced tea.
Like every time I drink this, I was like, it does taste like candy.
All right. So, had you seen this movie before?
No.
What did you think when you watched the trailer?
I thought it looked interesting. Of course, I was like, oh, look, another zombie movie. But I will admit, it's not a zombie movie. I personally didn't care for this movie that much, so I want to shit all over it. But I thought when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, look, I mean, it's another zombie movie, but it looks interesting. So
yeah. It was, yeah, I agree with that. It's a interesting movie. Would I put it in one of my watch again virus movies? No, there's much better ones out there. Because this one's caused by a fungus.
Yeah, which looks gross.
Your brain, or something. And they're not called zombies; they're called hungries.
Hungries, yeah. Or abortions.
Yeah, or abortions. No, the kids are called the abortions, the ones that regain some cognitive skills. The actual people that are out there eating people are called the hungries. So explain this to me, because they did this in The Walking Dead too. Why do people make shows with the premises that the people have never heard of zombies before?
Oh, that I don't know, dude. Don't ask me questions that I don't know the answers to. I have no idea.
Stupid. I mean, at least in like most zombie movies, people have like, oh my God, I think these are zombies. Or like in World War Z, they're like the memo with zombies. Yeah. Everybody's like, that's a made up thing. But there's a zombie. Yeah. So, all right. So let's start in the beginning here. They're in a military research facility where they have like 20 some kids.
Did I lose?
that they have the virus. They get sorry. Did I freeze?
Yeah, it kind of went weird there. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
All right,
Okay.
Start over again. Go.
Okay, so they're in a military research facility. There's about 20 kids, and these kids have the fungus, but they don't have, at least the doctor says, they don't have the original fungus. They have like the second generation fungus,
Right.
because they're able to gain their cognitive thinking and they're able to live a normal life as long as they don't come as long as they're not around people when they're hungry. But the military has developed a blocker gel so people can rub it on them so they don't smell like people, so that these kids won't want, or any hungry won't want to eat them.
Right on. I just wrote these kids are half zombies, and that they go freaking rabid after pheromone overload.
Right, like the guy spits on his arm and the kid's jaws just start, it's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, their
like,
jaws yeah, that's exactly what it is. And
but Melanie does not, or not Melanie.
Yeah, not right away. She does later on, which I wrote down. Sorry, I was taking a sip.
Well, because for her it takes blood, right?
Well, I don't know when Dr. What's her face, the teacher comes in later on. She's not bleeding.
No, she's not.
Which I wrote this down first. I wrote down, I love how
she also didn't get dinner like normal because she was still strapped in the chair.
Right on. I love how Dr. Cruella de Vil's
they got fed worms for dinner.
Yeah. Oh, which was gross. I was like, is that delicious?
And it was in a dog food bowl.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's high in fiber, but they call them like abortions. Like, hey, abortions, wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, those worms were gross, but I love how Dr. Cruella de Vil's riddles, they just weren't fun. They weren't fun at all. Like, and they just she's just mimicking everything anyway. So I'm like, what's the point? Like when she tells that, when they write that story out that one day and she just makes up the story, and she even calls the monster an abortion. This abortion came out of nowhere and ate him. And I'm all like,
yeah, she clearly isn't recalling anything from her human life. She's only recalling the things that she knows now. So yeah, she's mimicking or referring to. It's like she lost her humanity, but she's able to mimic others' humanity. Yeah, I knew from the beginning when the teacher started, I was like, the teacher's gonna get everybody killed.
Oh yeah, the teacher sucks. She's worthless.
I was like, and Glenn Close is the evil scientist that's gonna push the boundaries and piss everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which I wrote down. Okay, so when they're in the base, why aren't any of these soldiers strapped to the nines in protective gear? Like these people.
Yeah, why is she issuing them out? Why aren't some staying? Like they go in pairs when they're just strapping her to the chair to take her to class.
Exactly. They don't have gloves. They don't have a protective face gear because it's all by bodily fluids. Like if you get blood on you, you get this little fungus. And I'm like, why? Like it seems like a little saliva, any bodily fluid. Yeah. And you've got this little fungus. I'm like, why aren't you fuckers wearing gloves? And you're allowing them to strap themselves in? What's going on here?
When they go to pull those metal things down, those should be down all the time as a precautionary of if something happens and you get bit and now you're hungry, you're not breaking out of there. And the doors have glass in them. Why in these situations are there always glass in the doors that can be broken? Like, I feel like in a situation where you're dealing with a violent pandemic virus, you're pretty much in a operating room. There's no glass in there.
Right.
Because that's when they come in and eat you.
Oh, for sure. And they do. They get that assistant. So good. So delicious because she's all dumb and not paying attention.
Right. Okay. She's too busy talking.
Right. So we talked about this a little bit earlier and I want to mention now. So the teacher, she sneaks into Melanie's room, right?
Yep.
To what? Take her for a fucking walk? I'm all like, what's going on here? Why are you going in her room? You don't belong.
I was like that too. I was like, why are you visiting her?
Yeah. And why are
not a child?
Yeah, and there are zero guards protecting these children when they're in their little cells. And I'm like, just because they're in their
there's like a
cells.
bazillion when they go to class.
Yeah, exactly. I also wrote down when she goes in there, she's like, "You smell nice, teacher, whatever your name is." And I'm like, that's a red flag to get the fuck away from her,
That's
because
because you smell like a filet mignon cooked
exactly.
beautifully.
You saw them
Get
all
out.
go. Exactly. You saw them all going crazy earlier with their thing when the guy spit on his arm, and she says, "You smell nice." I would have closed the door right then and there. I just would have been like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Like,
Bye."
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Um so then she's picking, I love how she picks the number 13, and that little boy gets taken away, and she's like, "Oh, I fucked up." And then she picks her own name, or her own number 4. And
Yeah.
and Cruella DeVille comes and gets her and everything. Well, she doesn't come and get her personally, but she sends
Parker does. What, isn't that his name? Is it Parker?
I don't know. The sergeant.
Yeah, Sergeant Parker. Yeah.
Sergeant Hot Pants. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so
his real name's like Patty or something, because I think it's Patrick, but he goes by Patty.
That's not hot at all. Anyways, so I love how when he's taking her to Dr. Crazy, I love the flood of zombies at the fence. Why didn't they build a wall at some point in time? They've just got a fence and everything. It was just
not improved over it.
Yeah,
like, I guess that's your first go-to because you're doing things in a hurry, but you've got time now.
Yeah, you
put
think
some of those soldiers to work.
Yeah, you think they take better measures to protect that little base of theirs, that little makeshift base or whatever. They've just got a chain link fence, which I'm all like,
I'm actually really surprised, because this is something in all zombie movies. They seem to have chain link fences, and I'm always really surprised no zombie has realized you can dig under very easily a chain link fence.
Exactly. And I love how that, Soldier Boy keeps wheeling Zombie Girl to Dr. Nova Prime
when people are going bananas.
Yeah, instead of helping out at the fence. I can't explain to you how much a fence is useless with that huge ass horde. It was ridiculous. Are you super
surprised when they're like, "There's been a breach at the east"?
Exactly. No,
like, no.
Yeah. Fences aren't strong when you've got 50 million people pushing up against it that don't give a shit. So let's see. And okay, so she takes her to Dr. Nova Prime. And I'm all like, the whole time I'm all like, she's like, "I need to take your spine and your brain and everything." I'm like, couldn't you just do a spinal tap? I mean, and work
like
with that
brain biopsy?
Yeah, is it because this is like your key subject? Why don't you just try, I don't know, taking some spinal fluid for a hot minute, see what you can do with that first?
Because wouldn't you think that the live tissue would be better than dead tissue?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what other virus movies and zombie movies have taught us. A live host is better than a dead host.
Yeah. And also, speaking of Dr. Nova Prime, why didn't she have a gun? Like, everybody else has got a gun except for Dr. Nova
military.
Prime.
Doesn't everybody get a gun?
I'm like, and you're like the main person here. Why don't you have a gun, honeybee? Like, instead you have sepsis, which is great. Anyways, so
when things goes bananas, she runs to her office and somehow got out. It must be an escape hatch office, because she's in the truck.
Yeah, and I love how after her assistant turns and the little girl gets out, the two soldiers, the Asian guy and the black girl, who is played by Dominic Tipper. I just want to say right now, I love her so much. Anyways, but they first off, the Asian guy doesn't shoot the little girl when she sees her. And I love how the black woman hits the teacher in the face, aka getting the Asian guy attacked by the little zombie girl, zombie. And then she doesn't shoot her. She just holds off. And I'm all like,
I think she was afraid she was going to shoot her partner.
He is dead.
Yeah, he's already
I'm
been
sorry.
So you're going to have to shoot him anyway. So just shoot him now.
Exactly. He's a goner. Just shoot. And everything. I'm like, why are you holding off? Fucking pussy. And then I love how
her, come on.
Yeah, I love how
she grabs onto her.
Yeah, I love how every soldier after that just happens to jump out of their car and get eaten. Like, they're just like, "Hey, I'm just gonna jump out of this car so I can get eaten by a horde of zombies."
Again, no, like the guy that's opening the gate, like he gets out of his car to open the gate, does not have a gun with him. No fucking way would I be getting out of my car without a weapon to defend myself with?
Right. I guess zombies can't smell plot armor and get to their markers on time.
Yeah, because what is the saying they say in World War Z when they land in North Korea? Something like, if your aim's not good, go for the knees. They work just fine, or something like that. Like if you shoot out the knees, they're crawling. So if you can't get the headshot, but I'm like, come on, at least do that. Take them down so they become crawlers instead of runners.
Right. Yeah, I just that whole, and then they get away and everything. Now, I didn't write anything for that forest excursion where they get water from the river, but
so what did you think when they found the mask and they put the mask on her?
Well, I thought that made sense. Like it was in there, because I was like,
that's like the first time you see something like that. Like other zombie movies don't do anything like that.
Well, because I was like, why? I was like, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you? Why didn't they put those kids in masks to begin with, just in
all
case?
The time. Yeah.
I'm me personally. I'm all like, I don't understand. I would be taking extra precautions, but apparently,
I wouldn't be spitting on my arm and waving it in front of them,
for sure.
Like Parker
I don't
either.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure teacher what's her face didn't need an example of these crazy kids.
But she didn't care.
Right. Okay. So I love how can we skip to when they go to London?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's just a lot of walking through zombies who are dormant. Why are there dormant zombies? I don't get that either.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But I love how there's the one baby stroller zombie where she's pushing the baby stroller. Now, how did you think that when Glenn Close lifted that cover, that it was, sorry if you hear this popping, it's 4th of July, and and they're letting off fireworks, because fireworks have to last for a month anyways. So they are how did you feel about
it being a rat gnawing on the body?
Well, did you think it was a baby, or did you think it was going to be something else?
I thought they were going to do like in what was it called?
Dawn of the Dead?
Oh. No, Z Nation, where they're in one of the episodes in the first season, they're in a mechanic shop, and there's a baby in a carrier, like, and it's a zombie baby. And it tries to eat everybody. And I was like, oh, are they going to have like a strapped in zombie baby that's just all with no teeth?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be, a zombie baby, but it wasn't. It was a rat. Here's my question though. Later, from what we find out later on,
did you think it was just a rat? I thought it was a rat eating the baby's body.
That's what I thought too. But why didn't the zombies eat the rat? Because
they eat other animals.
Yeah, exactly. They eat everything else. Why didn't they eat that rat? She was just pushing it along.
Is it covered in the blood of that zombie baby, so they can't smell it? You're
making too much sense. Drink.
Okay.
When you make too much sense, we're drinking. Okay. So I love how they go into, after they get past all the zombies, even though they're super fucking loud and none of them wake up, like one at a time wake up. I'm like, you guys are being loud. Glenn Close shot her gun, which was not silenced. They didn't check that building that they went into that had the crazy zombie in it, handcuffed thing. They didn't check it, but they start talking loudly. They're like, hey, how do we get through here? And I'm all like, hey, quiet down, fuckers. You just got into the door.
Don't leave her alone. I'll stay with her for first watch.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they send out, or Melanie goes out. She leaves because there's like nobody there. And she catches that cat. I just want to say, I wrote down, cats aren't that easy to catch. They're not that easy to catch. I'm sorry. Stray cats come through my yard all the time. I just look at them weird and they're like zoom and everything. So I just want to say that right now.
But she's a zombie. And apparently in this movie, they're like crazy super fast. I don't know.
I also wrote,
I keep saying zombie. They're hungry.
You can say zombies. It's fine. I also wrote down right after that. I wrote down, because later on she catches a pigeons, and I'm like, pigeons are not that easy to catch. I don't know why the writers of this movie thought that it was so easy to catch random animals in real life. It's not that easy to catch. No. And she.
What'd you think when they found the lab on wheels?
Oh, well, can I say real quick one thing before that? what she did to that dog was just so mean. And I hated her as soon as she ate the cat, but then she did the thing to a dog. And I'm like, okay, you're just a horrible, nummy, whatever. What are they called?
Yeah.
What are they called? Nummies?
Hungries.
Hungries. Yeah, you're
Hungries.
just a horrible hungry. You deserve to die. A nummy.
No, me. That's what she called the cat and the pigeon.
Right. I thought when they found that lab on wheels, I was all like, oh, look at that. That's convenient.
Right? And there's nothing else around it. Like, I feel like if the military had research facilities, there would also be like military Humvees, some tents for the soldiers to be in. I feel like they wouldn't have just wheeled in this,
yeah, like,
and isn't it convenient that they don't know the code to get in, but there's an emergency hatch,
right?
that
Yeah,
you could just press a button and get in? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of the coded door?
yeah, exactly. Like, where did you guys find this at? Convenientformenow.com. Anyways, so they go, okay, so here's after they get inside this thing, and Glenn Close finds everything she needs to do her surgery on conveniently, except she has sepsis now. She's dying.
Yeah, which makes her go crazy.
Yeah. I love how they need supplies. So they send the black soldier, the black guy, to get supplies. And I'm like, why don't you send the girl to get food? Because she can't be detected. It's perfect. I don't know why they sent the black guy.
And you've already sent her out once and she came back.
Yeah.
So she's going to keep coming back. So why do you send the guy and send him by himself?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm yawning. I'm getting tired. It's late. Anyways. And then I have one quick question about the sepsis. Okay. So why does Dr. Patty Hughes never get questioned about her injury except for by the girl? Like, wouldn't you think these soldiers would have been like, hey, you're bleeding. What's going on here? Zombie woman.
Did you get bit? Come
Yeah,
on. Because in every other movie, they're all like, you got bit, and they want to either lock them up or they shoot them immediately because they're going to turn.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to say this right now. I literally laughed out loud when she saw the feral kids, the feral nummies, like, and they're in the library and they're like, and everything. And I'm all like, I was like, at that
dressed
point,
like cavemen.
Yeah.
And their hair's all ratty.
I was like, what is this Chrono Trigger? What is going on here? Like, this is narts. Okay. But it gets ridiculous even more after that.
Yes. Because when she fights them.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
I just battle of the alpha.
Right. I want to talk about that real quick, but I have one more thing. Why didn't the private, stupid, after he was trying to get off with those dirty magazines, that naughty boy, first off, why didn't he pull the pin? Like, he could tell he was already done for. And when they were coming in for him, and he's like, I'll blow you all up. And I'm like,
you know what this is?
Yeah, pull the pin. So why
don't be willing to call the bluff. If you're gonna bluff, you got to be willing to follow through.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. So I was just like, why don't you just pull the pin? And he didn't, and then he looked like watermelon cut up on a Sunday brunch.
Yeah, because those kids ain't biting you to turn you into another. Your dinner, they're getting all.
Yeah. Because they're starving. She ate that cat and that pigeon, which can't be caught. Anyway,
she ate them like they were a Twix bar.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure it was just delicious.
Oh yeah, just like that bowl of worms she had earlier.
Yeah, high in fiber.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then she goes out to the Lost Boys outside, ready for a growl fight. And everything. Like she was just growling at them.
But that's how the kids communicate, because you see that later too when they get into an argument. She's like,
yeah, exactly. And then she handcuffs the one, which I'm like, where did she learn these skills at? And then she beats him to death with that bat. And then after she's done, growling at them, she just drops the bat. And I'm all like, it seemed like that little boy, that was how he exerted his dominance with that bat and his and everything. I'm all like, what is going on? What is going on here?
And she's growling at them to communicate, but then she says, they're mine.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
like,
mine. Yeah, exactly. They're mine. And
but you're all your
everything.
does that what means? I don't know.
So they get back to the lab on wheels, and so Dr. Kamen, she knocks them all out, but what's her face is not, the little girl is not susceptible because that fungus, like,
Metabolizes things
yeah.
faster, blah blah.
How does Dr. Kamen not test for that stuff with gas? Like, I'm all like, you've got these little freaks in your lab. How do you not test them for everything? I don't understand this process.
Because I think they weren't caring about how they can survive. They were caring about making a vaccine.
Yeah,
A
see,
cure.
well, I didn't understand it. I was like, man, this sucks.
I mean, let's be honest. In most virus movies, does the medical and sciencey shit really make a ton of sense?
I mean, no, but I was just, the whole time I was like, I have more questions than I'm getting answers. So you guys
I
are
think
doing
you're
a good job.
overthinking it.
I think you're overthinking it. So then I love how the doctor got eaten by the little feral kids and everything. But at the same time, I'm all like, do you really want to
hungry
eat her?
caveman?
Yeah, she's got sepsis. It's gross. Why would you want to eat her?
Like, guys, the other girl can smell they're sick. I can't imagine sick animals taste good. Come on.
Yeah. And then that lieutenant guy, he dies because she releases the virus because they found the little seeds, and she sets it on fire, the little pods.
Well, because the doctor explained to her that would bring on the end of the world as they know it.
Which I love how she's all like, you see these pods, and then she beats it on the ground as hard as she can. I'm all like, how do you know that wasn't going to blow up in your face?
How do you know
stupid?
It's like a coconut and you can't get it open?
Yeah.
And it's
not
Dr.
like a
grape that's just going to.
Exactly. Calm down. Like, what are you doing? But she's all like, and then she tells her, like, it needs to be set on fire or something.
It's almost like when the villains give their speech.
Yeah.
Telling everything. Yeah. I'm like, she just did that. Like, she told this kid everything and the kid did it. She caught the big giant fungal growth thing on fire to release the spores. And she was all like, but I protected you. Why did you leave?
Yeah. And I love how the teacher is left alive in the little lab.
Of course.
But I love how she's teaching the feral kids. And how did those test kids from the beginning of the movie find their way to London, to this little test lab? What's going on here?
I was wondering that. At first I went, where did she find orange sweats like her friends were wearing in the thing? And I went, oh shit. Because then the teacher goes, well, we're gonna back up a little so that everybody else can catch up where we are. And I was like, oh shit, those are the kids.
I literally was like, how did they find their way to London? This is now it's like, this is the end of the movie.
Now
but
it's just silly.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's nards. It's total nards.
All right. Do you have anything else you would like to say?
I do not. I don't have anything else to say.
Would you recommend this?
No, you're fine without watching this movie. I think that you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I thought it was going to bring a nice twist to virus movies and everything, but it doesn't. It's just a fungus,
Yeah, and the girl's all like, everybody just wants to survive. And I'm like, oh, that's a solid point, but so like,
right. I just go, watch World War Z. It's way more entertaining. So, all right. So since we have nothing else to say about the movie, we're going to move on to our question portion of the show.
Let's do it.
What is your question of the day?
My question for you is, what is your favorite movie where the main character or one of the main characters is a little girl? Go.
I went with My Girl.
Oh, My Girl. I love that movie.
With Vetta Saltonfuss.
I
mean, as someone who I've had people go, oh, did your parents name you after the girl My Girl? I'm like, I was like 14 when that movie came out. So no. And her name's Vetta. My name's Vetta.
Yeah. And Thomas J.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin dies from bee stings.
Bee stings because he doesn't know how to run. Fucking pussy.
Right.
And so, I love that movie. So good. So sad.
Yeah. When the grandma comes into the funeral home singing, I still laugh out loud at that part.
Yeah. It's so
So
good.
all right, what was your movie?
Oh, mine was The Professional with Natalie Portman.
Ooh,
I love that
yeah,
movie.
that's a good one.
I think
I
my
like
favorite part is just as Gary Oldman's performance, like when they're like, "Who do you want us to call?" He's like, "Call everybody," and everything, and
everybody,
you're like, "Ooh, who's everybody?" and everything.
Yeah,
So,
what does that mean?
yeah, it's just, yeah, no, I like that that movie. I pick that movie. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good movie too. All right, so my question is, what is your favorite movie where the main character wears a mask in the movie?
So my answer for this is V for Vendetta.
Oh my God, that's mine.
Shut up. Look at you little hooker. Yeah.
I love that movie.
I love this movie. I love the comic book too. I own it and everything, but the movie is really good also. It takes a little bit of a different turn, but yeah, I just love that movie. I love Natalie Portman getting her head shaved and her crying in real time. And I just love the V for Vendetta guy, how he's all like, "Oh my God, these fucking fireworks are pissing me off." It's past 4th of July, fuckers. Time for fireworks is over. They're not even that good. They're like the cheap loud making ones. Anyways, I love this movie. What about you?
Oh, I think it's great. I just love everything about it. Like, I love how she's being like mentored, I guess. I don't know if that's what you would call it, but and it's just everything about it, people going against the man,
Yeah.
a
Fuck
woman.
the system. Rock and roll.
A woman. I love anything, especially right now in our day and time where a woman's like, fuck the man.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, you're one of
fucking
those.
us over all the time. So yeah, I just love it all. It's just so much fun. When I first saw it, I mean, I was a little bit younger, so it took a little bit more to get through it. But then once I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And now I watch it and it's a good time. And my husband's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, that's funny.
Right on. Yeah, no, I love that movie.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to add to today's show?
There's nothing else I'd like to add.
All righty then. Thank you guys so much for listening. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. We will also be posting this video to our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, BS Drunk Beer Reviews, and don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye.
Bye, you guys.